Hi everyone. So yesterday I did a post about Dina Reinhardt, and to all of you that have texted me or emailed me or messaged my racism, can you hear this? Yeah. If I turn it up, you will. So that was just an elemental. It was a solar astrology reading, and my care factor to what you guys have said, you're not even on my bloody page. You're not even part of my clientele. You're not even anywhere in my zone. So you're obviously either AI or someone that is too stupid to think. And my care factor, you say that? It's 0. So to the hypocrites that are out there as well, yeah, I am talking, you know who you are. Is why, firstly, why is a woman to blame for what her father has said? All right? Why? You tell me, why is somebody to blame for what their father said back in the 80s? All right? So he suggested, right? He suggested that, I have to read it properly, sterilising Indigenous Australians was the way to go in the 80s. So if you really want to object to something that has happened a long, long time ago, then how about you object to real effing issues? And those issues is your own part, the party that you are taking money from, right? That the party that you are accepting money from. Don't forget, right, that they're evil. Okay, the man that runs it is evil. Come at me, bro. I'll get my cousins. So anyway, what I wanted to say also is what is really happening out there has nothing to do with the uniform. And you'll find that out next month after the 7th. No, I'm not clairvoyant. Maybe. So if you want to speak about being offended, you accept a sponsorship whose party is actually responsible a long time ago as well for the White Australia policy, for the stolen generation. Yeah, that's right. Do you guys not wear Adidas? Bring that on. It was used by the Nazis. Look at L'Oreal. Look at this. Look at that. Hello. Where does it end? This is the thing. Focus on the positives, not on the negatives. And if you really, really knew this woman, I know a lot about her because we did her in class, I think, a long, long time ago. Long, long time ago means before COVID. So you're going with somebody that has never, ever, ever, I can tell you, ever contributed anything to your people. Someone that has never, ever looked at your people. Someone who is chopping trees down that is sacred to your people. What the is going on here? If you really looked at Miss Reinhardt, she is the 3rd largest. Twiggy is the first. She's the 3rd largest employer of Aboriginal. She supports how many sports I've already said in Australia. She actually also they what's it called? Scholarships. They support and they give scholarships to your people so that they all have a chance of doing more, right? And this is what you are focusing on. You're an effing legend. For those of you who don't know who Miss Wallen is, she goes into a game. She's like my Modine. She goes into a game 8 out of 8. She shoots 8 goals, gets 8 goals in, and wins for the team. This is how brilliant this woman is, and this is what she's focusing on. Use the platform for something useful for your people, not something This is like saying, I was talking to Dee, one of my friends, with this. This is like saying that Dee's family and Dee, my friend, has to apologize. She's Jewish. She has to apologize for what the Israelis did to all the Arabs where I was living. What the? Seriously. For God's sake, use your profile. This is 2022. Do something about it. You've gone with a man whose wife ran over a kid and wasn't breathalyzed. Yeah. And for, what's his name again? Tony Armstrong, you should know about that. Yeah. You were breathalyzed, mate. You weren't good enough not to be breathalyzed. You didn't know the right people then. And for you to jump on this bandwagon, by the way, you are the best looking guy I have seen for a long time. Yeah. You look like the pool cleaner. Not as in the pool, I'm here to clean the pool. People my age understand that. So you should understand that. He got pulled over. He was 4 times over the limit. Right. He was breathalyzed at least. You went to a prestigious football school, mate. Use your platform. Use it. Use it, because we have this ever-evolving relationship, but what you guys are doing with that is just putting it back down there. Every time it comes up here, you put it back down there. Anthony Mundine. Oh, hang on. For you, Tony, be careful this Friday, the 11th, and on the 17th, and on the 18th, and on the 23rd, and on the 29th, and on the 30th of this month. Anthony Mundine. Mate, when you converted to Islam, did anybody say anything to you? Did we love you any less? You're an effing legend. Use your platform. You should be careful too. 16th, 28th, and then all of December. Bunch of hypocrites. That's what I'm saying to you all. That's what you actually are. And you know what? Next. No, I can't say that one. Oh. But anyway, so this woman, she saved the sport. Why don't you ask that sport, that association? They can't explain how they made a loss, or what they did with $7 million. No, it's easier to just bag one person who is actually doing so much for your people than any other friggin' party ever did. Look at what was that thing called? I forgot. I'm having a senior moment. When the British came out here, it was called Operation Buffalo. Go and watch it. It's a mini series. It is such an eye-opener, okay? And that Paul Kelly and Midnight Oil talk about this in their songs as well. It was the British came out here in the 50s and 60s, and they allowed 12 atmospheric bombs to go off. They called them trials. But in this Operation Buffalo, you can see how it annihilates. The ground is still bad where all this happened. Yet people still live there, have gone to live there, etc. And you know why the British came out here? They didn't want to kill their own people. It was all right to kill Indigenous Australians. Menzies did this. Liberal Party. Why don't you go off at them? Why don't you go off at them at what they're doing to your people right now? I know more about what they're doing, and I'm not even Indigenous. By the way, Reinhardt she doesn't need to show what she can do, what she has done. She doesn't need to boast about anything that she actually does. She doesn't need to do that. She saved the sport. She saved many sports. We wouldn't have Olympic teams if it wasn't for her. So I'm not blowing all this up as her. I'm blowing this up is for all you twats that have sent me how this twat has saved Victorians and this and that. Go F yourselves. Why don't you look at a 19-year-old in a man's job, in a man's world that is sponsored? Right. Action speaks louder than words, I'm telling you. A grateful 19-year-old, I think she's Nayamal woman, 19-year-old, who is the first Indigenous, right, 19-year-old woman in a man's world in the mining industry. Yeah, that's what I would be looking at. And she's ready for the challenge. Yeah. By the way, you guys would changed your mind and were going to allow that back on. But then a loser walked in and offered you something. Let me tell you, there are people dying out there because he's just given you that 15 million. Why don't you think of that? Think of the 000s and the healthcare system and the children at school and all of that. Who's saving them? Nobody. So use your platform. You are an effing legend. For those that want to know what Danelle is in earth and she sits on a rooster. So Danelle, whatever you were thinking of in September is going to come back and bite you on the ass. And you're not going to have such an amazing year as you thought it was going to be in 2023. I'm not going to tell you what your bad days are. You're going to find out for yourself. It's very, very sad. You know, me discussing this with my friends, it's like you are stuffing this up for those students that have scholarships from these mining magnates. You're stuffing up for families who actually have a job, for people that have moved on and are going forward. Yeah, you want to do something substantial and worth it. You all have platforms, yet, and I'm not saying she shouldn't have spoken up. Good on you for speaking up, for bringing that to people's attention. But bring the rest with it. It's so negative. I'm going to go and get some light now. I hope you all understand the bullshit that's going on here. And again, it's a distraction from something else. So when you get on that court, Netball Australia, and somebody can't get an ambulance, think about that. That's right. Have a good day.